Hello, people. How's it going? Welcome to the channel. Welcome. Injury crisis at Arsenal continues. Let's just put it that way. Injury crisis at Arsenal is in full swing because yesterday in a friendly, Uruguay played England, of course. Madueke played, and we all know that, and he got subbed off with an injury. First things first, there were some talks about concussion, but turns out it's much worse than a concussion. So we're going to talk about all that. The big question is, what will Super Duper Mick, the best manager we have ever seen, who has graced the planet Earth, will do now? And of course, Ben White scored for England. There were lots of boos, but he still managed to nick them a draw. So the question is, how is all that going to work out now? How is all that going to work out? So people, smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new around here, and leave your thoughts in the chat so we can tackle them and we can discuss them. We can go from there because, let's be real, there is some stuff to discuss, to talk about. And, well, let's just put it that way. There is something very, very worrying for Arsenal's season going on because it does not look great. It does not look great. The season is falling apart as it usually does sometime in March. But somehow at this time it's happening a bit later than usual. Let's just put it that way for lack of a better word. Usually we fall in early March or February late and stuff like that. But right now we are falling apart late March. Let's just put it that way. And it's not looking pretty. Let's just say it as it is. Yes, they are told that Arteta's tricks always affect most players. I wonder at national. Yeah, exactly. Big up Mubarak, by the way. Big up Mubarak, and that's the big thing. For Arsenal, scoring is like pulling teeth for anyone. Let's be real. They go to internationals. Gyökeres scores a hat-trick. Norgard scores for Denmark. Ben White scores for England. First call-up in 4 years, and he just scores. Like, go figure. Genuinely go figure. By the way, big up Ben White for scoring the goal for England because it was a very nice return for him because it's been a while for him there. Obviously, he had disagreements with Southgate, hence why he didn't got picked, and that was that. But there were lots and lots of boos when he came on, but at the end of the day, he scored, so nobody cares, right? We want Norgard in the first lineup. Yes, we do. We definitely do. Let's be real. Big up, Matteo. Big up, Matteo. Hope you're doing well today. Big up, coach. Hope today is treating you well, my guy. Hope everything's fine with you. But we're going to kick off. We're going to kick off, of course, with no other than Noni Madueke, because that is the guy who is injured. That is the guy. And here it is. Noni Madueke left the England game in a brace post-match. And there is a better image of this, so we're going to pull it up. We're going to do, and here we go. There's a knee brace on Noni Madueke. So the questions now are beginning to rise. What the hell is going on? To say the least. Let's just put it that way. Big up Andre. Big up Benny Blanco. More playing time. Yeah, he gets more. But this is very, very, very iffy for me, the game time, because usually when you want to get rid of the player towards the end part of the season, that player plays more, so he can get games, showcase himself, or maybe Arsenal can get a pretty penny. Let's be real. Let's just put it that way. But Ben White getting play time is good. Let's see what happens with Timber, obviously. Mikel's hands will be tied now. He will have to play Max Dauman by force. And that is great on one hand, and that is the biggest issue on the other hand. For me personally. I don't know about you lot, people. Because he only plays youth when his hands are tied, when shit has hit the fan, and when he has to play them by force, because that's happened with Wanyeri, happened with Skelly last year, and it's always like that. It is always like that. He has to play certain players when basically he has no other option, despite the fact that those players actually are, well, better than quite a few of the senior players in the main squad, in the main 11. That is one of the biggest issues. Let's just put it that way. Big up Hyper Protagonist. Big up. No strike smacks them, hopefully. Well, that's the hope, at least. Big up Hendon. Big up. Oh, how we could be using Wanyeri right now, eh? Always said his loan would come back to bite Arteta on the ass. Yes, exactly. We are missing Ethan. Let's be real. Ethan would be golden right about now in that 10. Let's. There's no other ways about it, especially since we don't have a 10. Odegaard is a mystery in every way, shape, and form of that word. When he's fit or not fit, he's a mystery. Saka's experiment failed miserably. Trossard is injured. Well, he used to play him there. Merino is not available. Well, he used to play him there as well. Havertz, well, God. And Eze is injured as well and out for a month, if not more. So what now? What now? Now the right wing situation also is not looking that well, is it? Saka is, well, he's a stinker. He's, well, for lack of a better word, he's awful at the moment. Only replacement we had was Noni Madueke and Max Dauman, which Arteta refused to play on purpose. Let's be real. Right now, with Madueke's injury, that he's leaving the internationals even with a knee brace, yeah, Max Dauman actually might be starting some games, might be playing some games. Well, starting is a big word given that Saka is not injured, let's be real, but Saka is definitely not performing, and Arteta will not want to look like a fool when Max Dauman outperforms his golden star boy franchise player once again when he plays, let's be real. And if we look at the games that are coming up for Arsenal, big task if Dauman starts, let's be real. He will definitely get the trial by fire, as they say, because it's Southampton away, let's be real. Then it's Lisbon Sporting away, Bournemouth at home, Sporting away, Man City away, and Newcastle at home. Those are our next games. It's definitely not looking brazy, is it? It's definitely not looking too great if we're looking from that perspective. And right now, Arsenal are in this instance where injuries are, well, a problem. A problem. Despite the fact that we got told by many top gunners in the beginning of the season that we have the best depth, the biggest depth. Nobody has a squad like us. And Mikel Arteta, well, is an architect and he's a genius. He will find solutions. So it's going to be very interesting how he resolves these things. Most likely it's going to be Dauman, unless he decides to play somebody else there. Unless he plays somebody else there. We're getting old. The young gun cook, as they say nowadays. We're not getting old. We're not getting old. The matter of fact is our young guys are better than our old players on the pitch, the starting 11 main guys. And for one way or another, one reason or the other, they don't get picked. And that, for me, is the biggest question mark, no matter how you look at it. Because I don't see a justifiable reason why players like Max Dauman, Ethan Munyery, even Skelly are pretty much are not getting almost no game time at all at Arsenal under Mikel Arteta this season. I don't see any reasons whatsoever at all not to get them proper minutes. And right now, it as coach said, it's going to be by force that the Dauman is going to play. And as great as it sounds that Max Dauman actually might be getting some minutes, that is a big issue for me personally. Because, not because of the minutes, not because he's going to play, is the fact that he will be played because Arteta's back is against the wall. He has no other options. Same was against Everton. He had no other options but to basically YOLO it, right, and hope that Max Dauman pulls rabbit out of the hat when he stopped him on. Fair dues, it worked. It was brilliant. It worked. Arteta looked like a genius, right? But again, we basically dropped our whole issues, our whole season, all the pressure, every single weight imaginable, emotional, physical, psychological, anything on his shoulders and sent him go rescue the day. And that's the big issue for me. I'm not worried. The attack has been poor anyway. The attack has been poor only when, well, Max Dauman doesn't play or Vanjeri does not play. Those are the only times, ironically enough. And it has been like that the whole season and the whole last season. So the question is, what do they have to do to even get a sniff of a game, sniff of some minutes on the pitch? Let's be real. I'll worry about the collapse if Gabriel Rice, Saliba, Raya, Timber got injured. Playing FM26, got Coyote and Baleba with Julian Alvarez. Good. Enjoy FM26. That's all I can say. Because there's a big possibility that playing career mode on EAFC or FIFA, playing career mode on FM, is the closest way we're going to get to a trophy these days. Like seriously, because I always do Arsenal career mode on FIFA when I play, or EAFC when I get it. I do career modes. At one time or the other during the course of the specific year cycle of a game, I do an Arsenal career mode. Why? Because I want to see some trophies. I want to see if I can do better than Mikel Arteta. And, well, I always do. Let's be real. I know that's people will take this out of context, but shove it. Only be worried about the defenders. We play football solely based on defensive. Doesn't matter if attackers get injured. They're all, yeah, true. Except as a endowment, exactly. Except as a or Dauman. And that's the thing. Arteta will, that's the biggest issue. If our defenders are out, right? Saliba, Gabriel, Timba, one of them even, or two of them, God forbid, are out, injured, you realize that Arteta will play even more defensive football because it's very evident that Arteta does not have the same trust, and it for obvious reasons, let's be real, in, for example, Mosquera at center back than he has in Saliba. In Hincapié, because he will have to play center back instead of Gabriel. Although in Hincapié, I will put more trust than in Mosquera. He will not have the same trust in Calafiori at the back with not Gabriel next to him, but Hincapié. And that's the thing. He will play even more defensive, if that's possible, for some weird goddamn reason. And that means those players like Max Dauman, Eze, once he's fit, let's be real, and all these guys will have to track back, well, also travel, let's be real, even more, which means it will lead to more injuries, especially in physically, for now at least, fully undeveloped youngster like Max Dauman. And that can cause long-term damage, long-term issues, and that can ruin his career. So we are in this position right now where no matter which side you look at, there will be such incredible risks, short-term and long-term, that it could cost us big time. Let's just put it that way. This team is built for Diego Simeone. This team is built for quite a few managers, depending what you want to see from the game. It's built for Diego Simeone if you want to grind out defensive, counter-attacking football. This team is also built out if you want to play attacking football as well. Anybody's better than Arteta. I want him gone. Well, let's sign Sam Allardyce then. Why not? Yeah. Big up Oaxaca. Big up Oaxaca. Hope you're doing well today. Hope everything's fine. Hope everything is fine in your world these days. Zubimendi is too in the wrong team. Should play with Yamal, Gavi, and Pedri. And that, see, you say he should play with Yamal, Gavi, and Pedri. Do you think there is a world where Zubimendi gets in the starting 11 over Pedri and those players? Not Kubrazi, the other one. Fermin Lopez, for example. Do you think there is a world? None whatsoever. There's a reason why he was at Sociedad for so long and no big Spanish team picked him up. There is a reason. Because if you are a Spanish player and you are, well, good, to say the least, usually Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, or Barcelona take you up instantly, pretty much. But they have never done it. And Zubimendi is not the youngest chicken. Let's be real. He is already getting to those old fine wine territory, right? So there is a reason why he is not there. Why he is not there. Matteo. This same time as I do. I am implementing. We have to for now. There have been talks for about a decade, what it feels like, if not more, for basically saying no to this daylight savings time and staying on one time, right? But we have to do this tonight as well. Hard to play attacking football with Martinelli and Saka. Yeah, you say that, but we have seen how good they can be in the attack when you have the freedom, when you have the abilities, when you have the proper coaching and management. That is the big thing. We have seen how good they can be. And there is no chance in hell that these players are as bad as we see them on the pitch, attacking-wise. No chance in hell. As much as I think Odegaard is not good enough for Arsenal, there is no chance in hell Odegaard is as bad as we are seeing him. There's no chance Saka is as bad as we are seeing him. So if we had the proper manager, 100% we would see different Martinelli, different Saka. And the best part is that manager probably would adjust the style, the system, everything to fit those players, to kind of cover their deficiencies as well. Just banter, call me an Albanian ice cream. New manager, first game, we looked all right without Šeško and Oblak, yeah. But Zubi played in Euros when Rodri got injured, says he's still respected in Spain. Well, who else would they play? At the moment, there's, well, technically speaking, Nico Gonzalez right now. He played in Euros, means nothing. In Euros, he actually looked good, but that means absolutely nothing. We are talking about Arsenal, not international football. Let's be real. International football, we'll see Gyökeres scored a hat-trick 2 days ago. Norgard scored 2 days ago. What's its face? Ben White scored yesterday. The international football is a different talk. Martinelli in Champions League looks like he's actually a somewhat good winger. He's our top goal scorer in that competition. Like, it's all Premier League and Arteta and system style based as well. Sucks, all right. Still lost 1-0. I'm on 3 weeks leave now, but worst timing, no football. Yeah, that is the thing. That is definitely the thing. We only managed 3 points in qualifiers. One more than Sweden, though. Yeah, one more than Sweden, and Sweden are actually quite close to qualifying for World Cup, aren't they? If I'm not mistaken. When we played it, we still lost. What, 22-23 season, when nobody gave us a shot in winning it? Good one. Man, Luis Kelly and Ranieri should go to United if Arteta stays here playing harambal. I'm not gonna lie. If they leave, fair play to them because they want game time, and I understand that fully. If they go to United, I beg the pitchforks are coming out. I beg from fan base the pitchforks are coming out. Because it's bad enough that there's a big part of the fan base who are fine with 6 years without trophies. But if you actually sell our future stars, who you gonna replace 99% of a chance with another prospective youngster from different nation, why the hell are you even doing it then? Because those players are gonna get the same treatment as ours are. Like, what's the point then? Might as well save the money, keep the players we have, develop them, give them game time, and see what happens. Oh, but Arteta does not want that. Let's be real, because Odegaard will look like a bum. Skelly is not gonna play midfield and everything. Like, come on, man. Big up R32. Big up. I got sick of hearing "let's be real," so I left. Okay, let's be real. Goodbye. We used to beat West Ham with them 5 goals, but didn't win anything. Don't care how we win. Yeah. Wait till the end of the season. I'm like, I don't care how we win either. But there are ways, there are things that are happening I'm not happy about at all. And these injuries, as much as some are coming from internationals, at the end of the day, 95% of them are on Arteta. Our issues with the squad, on Arteta and everything. Going to France to win the one. Good luck with that. I'm not so sure about that one. Sweden got a wild card for playoffs because they were doing well in the Nations League. Yeah, they got the wild card, and it looks like they might take full advantage of that. And to be fair, I'm kind of happy for them. Would be interesting to see Gyökeres in the World Cup. Would be very, very interesting to follow them. Although it's in USA, so the watching games would be a bitch because the time zones, that's just dead crap. England had 35 players in camp. Well, that's normal. For teams like France, England, Spain, Germany, all these teams, they can build about 3 starting 11s and substitutes, and they still would do actually very, very decently in those World Cup, in Euros and World Cup, in any tournament. That's the biggest thing, because when you look at what players, for example, France or Spain leave behind, right? When they pick out their main, let's just say 25 players to fly out to the big competition, you can build another national team of those players, and bigger chances than not, they will get at least to quarterfinals, if not semifinals. Like, that's how nuts it is. That's how nuts it is. Man, how are you going to survive with that guy leaving? I don't know. My heart is broken. Genuinely, my heart is broken. I really, really hope over a period of time I can recover. Maybe I will pick up some pottery or something like that. Maybe I will write some poems about how much I miss that guy. Who knows? What's your top pick for the World Cup? Spain. For me, it's Spain. England, it's coming. Like, how many times we have heard this? We hear that every tournament, don't we? And how many times it has come home? Like, obviously, it's big part to blame is Southgate to a degree. Let's be real. Southgate kind of has quite a bit wasted the golden generation to a degree for a very long time for England. So we'll see how that's gonna go in this season, this year. Big up, Gavin. Big up, Gavin. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope everything's fine with you. It's coming home. Watch, like it's coming home. Yeah, under 20s maybe. No, main team. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't be too sure. I don't trust Tuchel as much, even though Tuchel is a very good manager and for cup competitions he's excellent to a degree. Let's be real. In the league he's a bit of a stinkfest, but otherwise he's very good. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm not speaking of the international coaches as well. Graham Potter leading the Sweden team as a manager. I think there could be something to it. I think Sweden could be. I'm not saying Sweden if they qualify. That's first things first. If they qualify, right? But they're not going to be dark horses, but definitely they will be up for some surprises. I think Parr is going to do a very good job with that. The depth England have is good. They will copy Arsenal set. No, I'm not watching any England games if that's the case. If England rely on set pieces and they play the same dead football, I don't give a damn that Saka plays there, Rice plays there, Ben White plays there, or someone like that. Or I genuinely couldn't give two flying Fs. I'm not watching any England game unless it's a final or knockout stage games, because those I have to watch. I'm gonna try to watch as many group stage games as I can as well, because this might be the first World Cup where I don't watch every single game. And that is solely because of the time zones. Only reason why. Because up until this point, since I started watching football well, I'll just say seriously watching since 2002, right? I have watched every single World Cup and every single Euros game, from group stages to final and everything. This might be the first year I don't, and just because of the time zones. And it's kind of pissing me off, I'm not gonna lie. Want to know why we lost the Euros final? Southgate played Kane as a CDM against Italy and Spain. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Remember when Lacazette was playing CDM? England's identity to be set pieces. Oh, freaking hell. And I like Gabriel being English. If Gabriel was English, I would understand that. Gabriel is not, so good luck with that. Plus, it's expanded format. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's impossible to watch all games. I used to be able to, even with certain games happening at the same time. I could turn on like 2-3 screens, watch all the games and everything. Not with these time zones at all. Portugal? What do you mean Portugal? Euros in Portugal, or Portugal as one of the favorites for the World Cup? One or the other? Which one? Let me know which one. Which one did you mean? Let's just put it that way. Which one did you mean? Because for me personally, like, it depends. Because if it was a World Cup, if it was Euros with Portugal, yes, I watched every single game, especially my nation's games, because that has been the only Euros where my nation has played and most likely ever will play. Portugal for the World Cup, they have a decent squad, but I don't trust Roberto Martinez as the manager. I'm just gonna say it out now. I've been saying this for the longest time and everything. My camera, see, I started talking about Roberto Martinez and my camera agrees with me. It instantly just disappeared. I don't trust Roberto Martinez as a manager. He was at Belgium and he wasted Belgium's golden generation. Belgium's golden generation, because that team had such high hopes for so many games, for so many trophies in international level, that it absolutely just was shambles. And now looking at Portugal, somehow this guy has failed upwards, gotten a bare national team, let's be real. And even though Portugal has, again, endless amounts of talent and players in the team they can pick, I don't trust Roberto Martinez to get it over the line at all. At all. Can't see any other team outside of Spain or France for the World Cup. I'm going with Spain. I'm going with Spain. Yeah, they have good players, but that means nothing. We have good players, and we have Arteta, and we have seen how that has gone. Portugal also, they have very good players, but the manager is the key aspect of all of this. And personally, for me, Roberto Martinez is not it. Definitely is not it. How the way he manages and everything. Like for me, like it's similar like Poland to a degree at time, like Poland used to be, where in group stages, not in qualification rounds, in qualification stages for Euros or World Cup, they blitz teams 5-1, 4-0, 3-0. They just fly through them, right? It gets to the actual tournament and they look like they don't belong there partially. And I'm not saying it's like that with Portugal, but Portugal in general give me the same vibes. They can do well in the qualification games and everything, but as soon as it gets to the international to the actual tournament, they drop the ball big time. Germany, Argentina, Brazil. Well, Brazil is just a mess, genuine mess at the moment. They are lacking good players in their key areas. Their generation change is not going too well in that department, and I'm not so sure we can expect much from Brazil. Yes, they will be one of the favorites, but they won't be up there, in my opinion. They have a good squad, but overall, it's not going to be enough. They definitely lack. Yes, they have. People will say they will. They have Vinicius Junior and all these players, but for me personally, nah, they will not do that much. Argentina as well. Argentina is also one of those teams that have a very good squad, but I think this tournament is not going to be it. This tournament will be a bit of a disappointment for Argentina, in my opinion. And with Germany, personally, I don't trust Nagelsmann. He has lost quite a bit of credit with Germany. Germany is struggling, no matter how you look at it. It's not the same Germany as it used to be. You know, with your Philip Lams, with Müllers, Goetzes, Schürrles, Klose, and all these players. It's not the same. Neuer in his prime. It's not the same at all with Hummels and all. It's just at the moment. Again, Germany team leads more to be desired, much, 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 much more, in my opinion. Maybe they are mess in warm-ups, but World Cup time they can turn. Maybe, but with Brazil, with Brazil, that's the thing. Like Brazil misses an out-and-out proper striker. Technically, they have some. They could have some. Looking at Brentford and everything, they could. At the same time, Martinelli could play there. Rodrigo is out with an ACL, so he's not gonna play. By the looks of things, Ancelotti does not want to take Neymar to internationals as well, which, in my opinion, is a mistake. In my opinion, obviously it's a friendly, so maybe he doesn't want to take him to risk an injury and all this stuff. We all know how these things tend to work. At the same time, one Vinicius and everything, it's not gonna work. I think, but that's just my opinion. At the back line, yes, center backs are good. The wing backs, again, for me, it's not it. It's not the same. Like the center backs, they have good, but once center backs don't make the whole team. Since like players like Roberto Carlos, Marcelo, and Dani Alves have left, they have lagged there. In the recent times, if you look at the big tournaments, Brazilian strikers, Richarlison, Joe, and you compare it to what it used to be, it's a massive downfall. They always have the hype, but they don't perform in recent times. Brazil is not the same. They have changed so drastically that it's a rough one. Obviously, Brazil in the group stages, they will get through it, in my opinion. But overall, I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. They will make that big of a noise. Dark Horses underdog team. Well, I always have someone like Japan or South Korea there, because those are the teams that always are something. They always have something about them. Always have something about them. African teams, the big ones, they are always up there with potential, but they lack the quality. Let's just put it that way. They have some good players, but they overall lack the quality in the players. Dark Horses. I think, if I'm not mistaken, wait. I think one of the teams that are gonna be very interesting to look at that could do something unique is Ecuador. Hincapié, basically. Hincapié. Let's just put it that way. Because they have to play Ivory Coast, and Ivory Coast is not the same. They have to play Curacao, which should be a win for them. Let's be real, Curacao and everything. They're gonna play against Germany as well, and Germany are a hit and miss at the moment due to players and everything. So it's gonna be very interesting. Ancelotti maybe the tactics will prevail over the players. He has experience, but with Ancelotti, the big thing is that wait, let me check this so I don't talk out of my ass. Yeah, this is his first actual international job. Before that, he managed only teams. So the switch is a bit different. It's a bit tougher. You have very limited time to do anything you want with the players and prepare. He's an elite tactician. He will definitely figure something special out to try to mask the deficiencies of Brazil team 100%, especially with the injuries and lack of quality in specific areas. But overall, Brazil is not anymore, even with Ancelotti, not the team that strikes me with such confidence as it used to. Let's just put it that way. And looking at this, Brazil will get out of the group. Who are in Brazil? Wait, let me check this. Brazil. They are in a group with Morocco, which is gonna be hell on earth for them. First things first. Morocco is a very tough team to play with. Haiti, that should be a win. And Scotland, Scotty Maxos and John McGinn are going to play against them. That will be a very tough game because Scotland is going to be very physical against them. That is, again, another game where Brazil might actually falter to a degree. But overall, yeah, Brazil are going to get out of the group most likely, but I think they will stop around quarterfinals, maybe. True. So English do have. England is very solid in most of the places, like left wing, right wing, midfield. It depends what is let's just say, the best dream 11 Tuchel wants to pick out. Because if he plays specific players out of position where they don't belong, like, for example, Jude Bellingham plays in the wrong position, it's gonna be a bigger detriment to the team than help. Left back situation is not ideal. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe Livramento is gonna play there, but who knows? Right back situation, Lewis Hall maybe. I don't know. But overall, looking at England's team, overall they have very good squad. They should be one of the favorites to win it. But will they win it? That's a bit different story. Also, Pickford, as much as he has credit in the bank, Pickford has a bozo moment into him, and it could happen at the least opportunistic time, which could end up costing England dearly. Senegal will be definitely a good one. Turkey will be interesting. Turkey will be very, very interesting. Obviously, one Arda Güler is not a fighter, but Arda Güler, Yildiz, Yilmaz, Ozkan, looking at the players. Turkey has very good attack. Very decent midfield. The defense, again, for me personally, looking at this Turkish team and the goalkeeping line, besides Bayindir, and that as well is not going too well, definitely leaves quite a bit more to be desired. 100% that Turkey team it's very good. It could do some damage, but overall, again, they lack certain things into the team, and looking at that. The heat will copper England. Also, the already knackered players will suffer even more, and that is a big problem, especially players like Declan Rice. Declan Rice will be one of the main players in the England team, and he already is for Arsenal. He plays without break. He will be absolutely annihilated in the World Cup in that heat. And it could definitely cost him dearly. It could cause some massive injuries. Who England have to play? England plays Croatia, first things first. That's going to be hell on earth. Then have to play Ghana. It's going to be a rough one. And then Panama, which should be a win at the same time. Lewis Hall versus Vinicius Jr., Kane versus Gabriel Magalhaes. I'll be there. They at least they play in a decent hour, somewhat decent hour my time, because every single game for England is either 11 p.m. or midnight. So I could actually watch some bits and parts of those games. Sad how, yeah, it is. Well, it's not wrong yet. Italy has to beat. Well, Italy, who they have to beat? Italy has to play against Bosnia. You know that's gonna be a very, very rough matchup. Italy should be beating Bosnia. First things first. But looking at the way they played against, who did they just beat? Who did they just beat? They just won against someone. My mind is going blank. I watched the game. Ireland. No, Northern Ireland. They barely beat Northern Ireland at home 2-0. No, 3-0, 3-0, I think it was. But they struggled really, really hard against them at home. Gattuso also, they pick Italy as well is one of those countries, like quite a few to be honest. They will be very. They pick players. Well, Gattuso and Italian Federation pick players many times based on job for the boys type of situation. They don't pick players or form or that actually could influence the team or games. They pick more, well, proven values. Unfortunately, those proven values are not the values anymore. Some things have changed, times have changed. They should be going different direction, but they always pick their favorites, unfortunately. What do you mean? Yeah, Italy haven't been to the World Cup for a very long time, since what, 2014? Yeah, they haven't been there for a very long time. It's been 12 years, two World Cups. This might be the third if they lose to Bosnia. And it's very interesting that they have to play Bosnia, yeah? They have to play man like Edin Dzeko, right? They have to play man like Edin Dzeko, who is 40 goddamn years old. Edin Dzeko is 40 years old. He's still leading the line for Bosnia, and he is actually doing some madness there. He actually, if that game is also in Bosnia, isn't it? In Sarajevo, isn't it? Yeah, the game is in Sarajevo, so that game gets played on Tuesday. Yeah, it's the Balkan countries, the support and everything. It's gonna be absolute pressure cooker to the maximum settings. And looking at how Gattuso is doing things, I don't know why Gattuso even got picked as the manager. First things first, looking at what he did at Valencia and everything, it definitely doesn't strike me as a manager who should be getting a job to one of the biggest footballing countries in the world. Yes, mind you, they have fallen off. I'm not gonna lie. They have fallen off. It's not looking great. At the same time, just pick a proper manager for a change. Should be used to it by now. Nah, with Italy, it's not. They're one of the winners as well. Dzeko the Diamond. Yeah. Antilage. Yeah, the game is in Sarajevo. Yeah, and you know, diamonds are forever. 4 years is nothing. Yeah, Dzeko is like fine wine. Gattuso. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't get the Gattuso appointment in general, but people say Barella is better than Rice. And in the 8, yes. Rice is a 6, though. That's a bit different story. That's a different story. I would take Barella in that 8 spot in a heartbeat if that meant Rice going to the 6 and Zubimendi just holds bench permanently, pretty much. It's are used to it and have stopped Shikhauzli to get through. Yeah, Italy, since, well, the crisis struck and everything went down the drain, let's just put it that way, in late 2000s and early 2010s, Italy has never recovered. Like, obviously, once they're big players, they're legends, you know, Marquisios and Chiellini, Bonucci, Barzagli, Buffon, and all these players, well, retired, they did not have replacements. They started to focus, obviously, more on their own player growth, developing their own players. At the same time, it's very evident that it's not working. It's not going in the right direction. Because if you look since the last time Italy was in the World Cup, right? It's been over a decade right now. You would think that the young focus on developing your own players would have worked by now, but it hasn't. Evidently, something is effed up there. Evidently. Yeah, this season Barella has left to be desired. But that is also expected. The new manager, they're gonna get rid of some of the players. They got rid of some of the players in the summer. And after that big loss in the UCL final, it's very evident that Inter Milan also need a rebuild. And it looks like they are willing, allegedly, to sell Barella and Bastoni to finance all that, to basically start a rebuild. How that's gonna go figure. Is that the right move? Also, go figure. Because, in my opinion, Bastoni is one of the best, if not the best, defender center back for Italy right now. Right? That goes without saying. Barella is one of the best midfielders for Italy right now. And if they're willing to part ways with both for some weird goddamn reason, definitely something is screwed up. Definitely something is screwed up. Yeah, exactly. Pirlo as well, and all these guys, they've ended their careers, and it has gone down. It definitely, and they have no replacement. Let's just put it that way. And it's definitely not the greatest of situations. Let's just put it that way. Anyways, let's go back to Arsenal. Speaking of England and Arsenal and everything, Arsenal are in looks for a left winger, right? In the last few days, we have talked about a few left wingers Arsenal have been linked with, potentially could sign, or we are, well, the chat and me, who we would want for the left wing, right? We have talked about Kvaratskhelia, we have talked about Leao, we have talked about Yildiz, Barcola. Obviously, it's someone randomly said again Nico Williams, which just seems preposterous. Diomande, and that's also insane. And obviously, someone brought up Anthony Gordon from Newcastle, right? Somebody brought up Anthony Gordon. And with Gordon, there is a thing which I touched upon yesterday, right? I touched upon it yesterday, and we're going to talk about it a bit more today as well. And for me, the biggest question is Anthony Gordon just glazing Arsenal player so he could get on Arteta's good side, or is he actually just thinking that? I genuinely cannot figure this out, because on DAZN, there was an interview with Anthony Gordon. He had to rank like England players, right? And for some weird goddamn reason, in his ultimate England bracket, he picked, and I kid you not, Bukayo Saka over Alan Shearer. Right? He picked Bukayo Saka over Alan Shearer, which, first things first, seems quite insane, preposterous, and, well, weird. Let's just put it that way. But especially since Alan Shearer and everything, right? And then you aren't like how to say this, right? Alan Shearer, right? Alan Shearer, Newcastle legend, right? Newcastle legend. Aaron Gordon plays for Newcastle, and he picks Bukayo Saka over a Newcastle legend. Now, does he actually think that, or he glazes Saka just so he could get to Arsenal? For me, that's go figure. Genuinely go figure. I'm not talking about transfers right now. I'm just talking about the sheer fact that he picked him over Shearer, which for me seems preposterous. Like, genuinely. Like, big uphanded. I'm not talking about transfers. I'm just curious why Anthony Gordon has picked Saka over Shearer. It's not about transfers. What the hell? Gordon and Morgan Rogers will be good. No, it wouldn't. One of them wouldn't. I would take Morgan Rogers. Gordon, I'm not the biggest fan of, personally. He's glazing his teammate, nothing else. You think he's England teammate? Because it just does not make sense. For me personally, it might be a weird thing for me, but it just does not make sense. Because that's like, basically, you have an interview with, let's just say, Kobe Maino, right? Kobe Maino, and he picks Diogo Dalot over Gary Neville. That would be the same levels to a degree at the moment. Like, I don't get it. I absolutely don't get it. Like, why? Absolutely why? For me, that is why. That's the point. Like, no matter if you glaze it or not, it does not make sense, but it is what it is. Obviously, as Arsenal fans, we have so much big PTSD and all this stuff that we tend to look too much into things, as we are doing right now, obviously. But I don't like just to glaze it. I don't like it's weird because for me, obviously, people are asking why I don't want Anthony Gordon at Arsenal. It's not that I don't want him at Arsenal. It's more about the sheer fact that he just doesn't strike me as a left winger that could develop Arsenal's attack, make it much, much better compared to Martinelli. Yes, Martinelli has not been great, but Anthony Gordon, personally, strikes me just as an improvement on Martinelli in terms of that he has better finishing. He can play as a striker, just like Martinelli, who should be. And he works hard defensively, which for me for me personally just screams Martinelli 2.0, another best defensive winger in the league. Because Anthony Gordon works hard defensively. He tracks back, runs forward, and all this stuff. Just the same thing Martinelli does. He scores more, though, to be honest, than Martinelli. There's no argument about that. Saying that, Eddie Howe knows how to utilize him. He knows how to use him, how to take advantage of his qualities. And that, for me, is just not it. Not it. Hell, bring chaos off to the left for once. Exactly. Bring something. For me personally, I would love to have Kvaratskhelia at Arsenal. Will that happen? No, no chance at all in my eyes. No chance at all whatsoever. First things first, PSG consider him untouchable. He doesn't want to leave. Only way we can get him, maybe 150, 160 million. Best case scenario. So that for me is off the books. Next one is Kenan Yildiz. He just signed a new deal at Juventus. Money talks, but it looks like it's also not going to happen. So what else is there? If we look at options, well, there is Leao, Nico Williams, oh God forbid, and Anthony Gordon. Obviously, there are some talks about Diomande and everything, but Diomande is RB Leipzig won about 80, 90 million for Diomande. For that price, might as well try and get Leao or somebody like that. But for me personally, there are not that many left-wing options. The market is very dry to a degree. And if Arsenal are also looking at Julian Alvarez to sign, I don't see Arsenal spending two players, each of them, 100 million next summer. I don't, because that's not Arsenal. And we usually sign one big marquee player, and rest of them are just sprinkled in there somewhere, right? Let's just put it that way. So I believe more that we can get Julian Alvarez than we actually can get Kvaratskhelia. That goes without saying, right? And the sole reason why Julian Alvarez left City was because, well, he was behind Haaland. He was not getting game time, right? He's one of the best players at Atletico Madrid. Lookman has come in, given them fresh perspective. Griezmann is leaving, so that means Alvarez is going to get even more game time. At Arsenal, if he comes here, he might get left-wing position to start. That is one only place, by the way. Because if we sign Alvarez, why would he come here to be a backup for Gyökeres? There is no reason why he would do that if he left City just to start games, to have more game time. At Arsenal, he's not going to get it, which means if we sign him and he has to play striker, it means Gyökeres has failed. Arteta will openly admit that, and Arsenal will openly admit that, which just seems preposterous to me. So unless he comes here to play the left wing role, maybe a 10 role, who knows? That seems also a bit off it because, well, Arsenal played a lot of players out of position, so maybe. But overall speaking, I just don't get it. It just doesn't compute. But for me personally, between Alvarez and Kvaratskhelia, Alvarez is a bigger chance we're going to sign Alvarez at the end of the day. And I would love Alvarez at Arsenal. The thing is, though, where would he play? Because he will want starting minutes. Where would Alvarez play at Arsenal to be a starter? Left wing? Given how we play, we don't run too much on the counters, maybe. Although Alvarez is quick. Like, it's it's a weird scenario, hence why when I talk about these things, I try just to look away, to say the least. I can talk about them, I can discuss them, I can go from there, but to take it as gospel that it's gonna happen, definitely not going to be a thing. In other news, Belgium are 2-1 up against USA. Pochettino in the mud. De Bast and Onana just scored for Belgium. 2-1. 2-1. What is the Belgium lineup? Mounier, De Bast, Makele, De Kuiper, Raskin, Onana, Selemakers, De Bruyne, Doku, and De Ketele. Lemons in goal, of course. USA lineup: Balogun, McKennie, Tillman, Pulisic, Trestman, Cardoso, Robinson, McKenzie, Ream. Ream is still playing. What the hell? Weah is playing right wing back, although not surprised. Genuinely not surprised. And Matt Turner, Tina Turner in goal. Holy moly. Who would have thought of that? But yeah, Belgium at the moment, they actually are beating USA, which is very, very, very interesting to say the least. So we'll see how that's going to go and how that's going to impact things. But yeah, people, how are we feeling? Do you think, let's go back to Arsenal. Let's just put it that way. Let's go back to Arsenal. Madueke is injured as well. He left the game with a knee brace and all this stuff. How big of an injury crisis is there at Arsenal at the moment? How big of an injury crisis is there at Arsenal? Is it time to push the panic button yet? Is it time to push the panic button? Just question. Just actual question. Big up, Marlon. Big up. Well done for... Yeah, big up to Arsenal ladies. Beat Spurs 4-2. Slegers 11th win in all competitions. On top of all that, Alessio Russo scored a hat-trick in the first 27 minutes of the game as well. Injury FC, yeah. It is a crisis, definitely. Hendon is saying it is a massive crisis. Let's be real. It is. Coach is saying there is no crisis at Arsenal. Or are you saying, no, we don't need to push the panic button just yet? Even though, looking at this, we have 7 players injured, right? And 5 of them are the starting 11 players who usually start every single game. You don't think that is a massive injury crisis and it's not the panic setting yet when half of your starting 11 is injured? Like, putting it out there. Too late to push the panic button. The iceberg has been struck and the Titanic is going under. Yeah, that is the thing. That is the thing. Unfortunately, because it was very visible and very evident that it's going to happen. We've been talking about this, well, for a while, to be honest, since the start of the season, since summer, to be honest, we talked about this, that it's going to happen at some point. The season started and everything. We were saying that this will be a case on the second part of the season. It's going to get worse. And at the moment, it is looking worse. Let's be real. So how is this going to work? We still have really good players, squad depth. Okay. So let me ask you this. How confident are you? Let's just say, even for Sporting Lisbon away, we go to Sporting Lisbon, we fly out there, and we start the game with starting 11 of Raya, Ben White, Mosquera, Hincapié, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, Saka, go figure who's going to be in the 10, maybe Odegaard, Martinelli, and Gyökeres. How confident you are that we're going to win that game? And of the bench, we have nothing. Madueke is out. We most likely of the bench, we have Jesus, Martinelli, maybe Norgard, Max Dauman, and that's about it. The rest of them will be youth players then. And Skelly. How confident you are that we're going to win at Lisbon? Then. Won't be surprised if Rice is injured. Rice is injured. He just plays through pain. Like, many players have been saying this, and many players have been saying this. Professional athletes always say this. Once it gets to this stage of the season, if you are injured, you're injured. If you can play through it with painkillers or injections, you do it, because there is no way back at this stage of the season, because everything is on the line. Everything you work for the whole season is on the line. And if you back out now, well, you're done for. The season is done for. Players are done for. Like it is. You're getting demolished every month. Nah. We will with that 11 I just named. With that 11 I just named. We gonna beat Sporting Lisbon with that 11 I just named. Seriously? You open-heartedly believe that Arsenal are gonna go out there and beat Sporting Lisbon with the 11 I just named? Because until anything is confirmed, to a degree, expect the best, but prepare yourself for the worst. So the worst case scenario in this is Raya, White, Mosquera, Hincapié, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, most likely Saka, Odegaard in the 10, maybe. Well, I don't even know who's going to play 10 if Odegaard is not available, by the way. Then Martinelli and Gyökeres. 20% chance for beating Sporting Lisbon in Lisbon. Exactly. Remember the last time we played in Lisbon, how that went? In elimination stages, by the way. Group stages mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. We need to look at elimination stages, because that's where the game goes down the realest. Last time we played against Sporting Lisbon in Europa League, that went well. Against Porto 2 years ago, it was also a pain in the ass. And Porto were better there. 37-year-old center back Pepe schooled our whole team, pretty much. I now trust the team to get the job done. Husa. Good for you. Die in disguise. That's mad. We are cooked now. Saliba, Timber, Gabriel, Wars, Odegaard starting, and Bukayo Limpan. Yeah, Madueke is out. Trossard is out. Who else is there? Timber 50-50. Eze is injured, by the way. Seriously. Eze is injured as well. You forgot Eze, Marlon. You forgot Eze, Marlon. I know this is Marlon. I absolutely know this is Marlon. Oh, 3-1 in Belgium. USA are losing. Pochettino getting schooled by Belgium. 3-1. Charles de Catalet scored a penalty. 3-1 US. Oh, sorry, 3-1 Belgium. 3-1 Belgium. Onana, de Catalet, and de Bast scored. Reem is 38 years old and still carrying the USA team. Yeah, your football is just going down the drain, is it? No trust in the team, none of the main guys. If 37-year-old Reem is your best center back next to Mackenzie, yeah, USA is cooked. I'm not gonna lie, USA is hella cooked if that is the case. Even in the World Cup at home, like, that is nuts. Yeah, they are. Look at this. Right? Look at this. This is the game that's happening live right now. This is live right now. Belgium 3-1, 62nd minute. This is the starting 11. I'm telling you, Reem is 38 years old. 38 goddamn years old, and still he's one of the best center backs USA have to offer. Like, that is just yikes and a half. Look at the stats, by the way. Look at the stats as well. These are the stats for Germany versus Belgium. It's not looking great for USA, is it? Definitely not looking great for USA. Belgium are absolutely annihilating them in every piece of possession available. Except shots off target, which is, yeah. Besides that, it's definitely not looking great for the USA. Touches, accurate through passes. Lol. Touches in opposition box, 29 versus 18. Yeah, USA are cooked. USA are absolutely cooked, if we're looking from that perspective. I'm sorry if there's a USA fan in the chat or you are an American. Yeah, you are absolutely done for. Our defense might not be lucky if we got the match without conceding, and we all know. If it was on Saka to pass to Gyökeres, there a better chance of 10 out of 10 Latino. There are those, to be honest. There are those. You cannot say a hypothetical like that because there are those. I'm not gonna lie. The thing is, we yesterday were looking at this salary stuff, right? And Bukayo Saka gets salary of 300 grand a week. That does not include bonuses, right? And I assume that the bonuses are goals because there is no chance in hell that when you look at the game where Gyökeres is running clean in through on net or something else is happening and Saka does not pass him or someone else the ball, he just decides to shoot when there are two defenders in front of him, when the ball is going to get blocked 99.99999% of the time, and everything just falls apart. There has to be something not there. Something. It's definitely not looking great, is it? Definitely not looking great, to say the least. But yeah, I guess time only will tell where we will land and how this is going to go. But overall, it is absolute shambles at the moment, to say the least. Absolute shambles. So we'll see how this is going to go, where we going to land. But overall, yeah, people, we'll see how this is going to go. Absolutely. But I think for today, I'm going to be signing off. So people, like the stream, subscribe if you're new. Hope everything's fine with you. See you all tomorrow. I'm going to redirect you to Jez's stream, Jez's Arsenal. Hopefully you enjoy his stream. But for today, I am out. Peace.